Welcome everyone to the LEC Summer Playoffs live from Berlin, Germany. Tonight we'll see XL fighting to keep their season alive against a resurging Fnatic for a spot in the final tomorrow against G2 Esports. I'm Laure and I'll be joined by Abbedagge and Goldberg for this strategy check. How are you guys doing?
Good. It's nice to be on the desk for a little change. You know? Get to join you guys for a bit.
So nice to have you around, you know. Sometimes I get to cast with you back in the day. It doesn't never happen now. Now you get put on our desk. It's great to have you, buddy.
Yeah, and it is the reunion, as it will be the reunion on the Rift today with the storylines that we have. But first, let's rewind a bit and recap what happened yesterday as we said goodbye to Team Heretics after the loss versus Fnatic. They are eliminated from playoffs and season finals contention. Dagda, they were close, but yet so far from taking it.
It was heartbreaking. And even the interview with Jankos afterwards was just, I mean, brought a tear to my eye. But genuinely, they tried their hardest. Unfortunately, though, it just felt like they got caught out a little bit. They weren't expecting things like the Rumble to come through, the Ivern that we got to see. Definitely was Fnatic kind of figuring out how they wanted to play in the meta. And then things like the Jace as well coming in so hot, too hot to handle, honestly, as they started to play around those dragons and those big objectives.
Yeah, but it just felt like, you know, the early game, it felt like it was going in Team Heretic's favor. It felt like they had developed that flaw they had from regular seasons. But one flaw that still remained, though, that also persisted in groups, was some of their mid game. And even though they managed to get those leads in the early game, they could never really convert it into more. And thus, Fnatic came back so many times. Great team fighting as we know them by, and they couldn't take it all the way. So yeah, sad to see Team Heretic's gone.
It stayed a consistent issue with Team Heretics, and it felt like when Fnatic kept improving, Heretics stayed the same, actually. But we will see Fnatic again in season finals. But I want to point out, they are not locked yet, even though they thought they were, for Montpellier Occitanie at the end of the year. Only top 3 of the season finals will go there. So they would need at least 1 or 2 best of 5s, I think, to get there. Yeah, don't get too hasty.
Yeah, and also top 3 season finals is not what we're doing right now. This is the summer final right now. We'll get there.
Yeah.
I swear we'll all be on the same page at some point.
This is summer playoffs, and we'll go into season finals in a couple weeks.
That's right.
Let's focus on summer playoffs for now. With the series we have on our hands today, XL versus Fnatic for a spot in the summer finals versus G2, and a win here would lock XL for season finals over Koi. So Koi, I think, are the biggest Fnatic fans today.
Oh, absolutely. Fnatic as well, you know, they managed to qualify yesterday for XL. If you lose here today, that is you out. So it's really just very simple. XL win, you go to season finals. You lose, then it's Koi taking their spot. So, you know, Koi, as you said, biggest Fnatic fans. And for the side of XL, they just want to make sure that Fnatic is not able to get a win today. Yeah.
And it's a do or die series for XL again, and Fnatic proving that they can save their season again, I feel. So it's going to be an insane battle on the Rift because Fnatic kept on improving. We saw XL last week against G2. I don't know what to expect today.
I'm just hoping for a banger. I just really want a banger. I think there's going to be a huge amount of contention around like what happens in the jungle, what happens in the mid lane. Like this seems to be the 2 big focuses that we're seeing, and I'm super excited to see exactly how that's going to pan out today.
And insane storylines on the side of both teams as well. When you look at Odoam, they won his first title last year in Malmö with Koi. He could kick them out.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because you have the 2 where it's Odoamne finally being able to get revenge on his org, at least on social media. It seemed like he's been wanting to do that.
He said some stuff.
He definitely did.
Strong words.
And for the side of Trimby, he's in a position where he can save his former organization. So the Koi boys, they gotta root for Trimby today if they want to make it done.
And Trimby versus Odoamne, as we said, like former Koi player as well. Trimby was mentioning it in PGL yesterday, that it's going to be both intense and heartbreaking at the same time, regardless of the issue here.
Yeah, I think the fact that you're going to see either these, well, potentially XL not make it into the season finals, and then also the fact that for Fnatic, as they've been improving so stellarly over the course of this entire split, same with XL, the fact that you're going to get these improvements and maybe, just maybe, you're going to stumble at that last hurdle, it's going to be heartbreaking for both these.
And I feel like this is what these playoffs are about, GB, improving and showing how much you've been able to improve to maybe save your season from a doom situation.
Absolutely, and I think both teams here was sort of contested with some of their weakness. I think for sure Fnatic was with their early game yesterday, but also XL when they were playing against G2. So whichever team really can take the most out of their losses and incorporate that to strengths of themselves will definitely be the one making it to finals.
Do or die. We said it enough, I guess. Reddit got the idea here. But Odo shared some thoughts with us on what this do or die series actually means for him. So let's check it out.
It's a big reason of frustration for me, the fact that you know, after playing like this and being in such great form that there's a chance you don't make playoffs. It is quite gutting, you know. We achieved nothing. We are top 3. We need to win one more. If we don't win one more, who cares that we've been playing good? We're just a bunch of randoms that just didn't make playoffs in that sense. So yeah, I mean, there's huge motivation to turn it around because people don't really expect much from you when you go twice 10th. At the same time, you know, when you go twice 10th and everything's on fire, you kind of have a point to prove if you wanna stay on a roster for next year. So.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line here for players who both want to save their season, their career next year, but also what he said I think is really impactful. The fact that even though you improved, if you can't make it to some season playoffs here, what is the point in the end? How is that even going to matter? No one is going to remember you. So this is the series today that's going to define how the rest of the year is going to shape up.
It's really true. And, you know, we can stand here and say they've improved drastically in terms of what we saw in the beginning. And as you said, it just won't matter in the end. As a competitor, the only thing that matters is winning. For Excel, the only thing that matters is winning the summer split. It is making it to season final. It is going to Worlds. And specifically for a player like Odo's caliber, it would be a disappointment not being able to make it all the way.
I do think, though, for these players, they should still be very proud of what they have achieved, though. I mean, the fact that they've managed to come in, not only with finding one identity across the course of the split, but able to find multiple, like we saw with Fnatic yesterday, very different compositions that they brought to the table, being able to figure out how they want to try in multiple different styles. And it's been a similar story for Excel, right? Like Odo himself, popping off in a Rumble, which we haven't seen for so long, and then coming back and playing things that he's kind of more, well, known for recently, I'll say. So I think it's been an incredible story for these guys, just how good they have improved over the course of it.
But when you put yourself in their shoes, is it enough, though? Is it enough, especially after bringing G2 to 5 games last week, proving that they could do it, that they had them in them? And when you look at the whole Excel story, I think it's inspiring the fact that I saw the improvements on the mid lane, especially, and on the fact that I felt like every player from the map could carry when it was needed, and especially when you look at Abbedagge playing the Azir in the first place, pivoting to Jace, who became one of the main picks. I think it's going to be a central point in the series we have today.
It definitely is. It just feels like whoever picks Jace just turns into rookie, and we've seen it so many times with so many different players.
They lose?
Oh, no. Hopefully not in the same regard, but on an individual level, yes. And I think it's going to be super contested. It's been Humanoid's best champion in groups. It's been Abbedagge's best champion in group. I would be very surprised to even see this champion being left open. Whatever red side team we will see today will probably be forced to ban this champion unless they have an exceptional answer to it.
And Fnatic playing on red side the first game, I think.
Exactly. And the thing is, as you're kind of looking at that as well, it's like, well, what the hell happens to Fnatic when they're on that red side? Because you're like, okay, we get rid of the Jace, but Rumble's still a big pick, Maokai's still a big pick, Rel's a big pick, and it feels like you have to try and contain Abbedagge in that mid lane, because as you can see, when he's able to have things like the Jace, or he has the Azir, or these kind of picks where he can work with the jungler, well, this is where I think he stands out, helping those teams in the early skirmishes and trying to set them up and prop them up for a strong mid game.
Well, let's hear from the man in the mid lane himself, as Abbedagge is standing by with trouble.
Thank you very much, Laure. I'm sitting here with Abbedagge, ahead of your best of 5 as Fnatic. Thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now, of course, last weekend was, honestly, I'm not even going to say disappointing, because you guys played so freaking well versus G2. What did you think was the defining factor in this best of 5?
Well, I think they pushed us to the limits. We were very close from winning game 5, we felt like, but in the end, it was small moments that decided everything. Like every game was really close, I feel like. So just small difficulties.
Okay, would that be in macro or how you guys communicated in the game?
I think they were a bit ahead in macro and then a bit maybe mechanical communication. I think they were just a little bit better of a team today, and that's why they won.
So, okay, you guys are taking the long way to the finals, I'm assuming, so you can practice this more. Now, of course, Abba, last time we talked, you had a very strong belief for your teammates. You said you think they're very strong and you're really happy that they get to showcase how good they are on the Rift. Now, part of this Excel story and growth has been you as well and your development. How do you think this has gone this year?
Well, I think when I came in, nobody really expected much, but I knew that I can be one of the best mid laners in the LEC, and I just wanted to prove to myself that I can be at the top. I think I'm on a pretty good journey to keep improving. I feel like I think I've gotten into a really good kind of state where I feel like I'm improving every week, and I feel really good right now with the teammates I have around me, the environment and the coaching staff. They help me a lot, kind of summon the best version of myself. So every week is just kind of it's been a growth journey for me.
Well, Abba, you're one best of 5 away from solidifying yourself in the top 2 of the LEC for summer at least. But to get through that best of 5, Fnatic is waiting, and they showed a pretty strong face yesterday. Did you and your team see sort of different tendencies than what they showed last week, possibly?
I think they kind of showed a similar drafts and similar gameplay. So I would say we were pretty well prepared. Obviously, we didn't know yet who we were going to play, but we had a feeling it would be Fnatic. So we've prepared our scouting. We're not surprised that they made it. I think they're a strong team, and we have to respect them. But we also have good plans prepared for them. So I think it's going to be a very fun series today.
Well, Dylan Falco said that he's expecting XL to play against you two in the final. So good luck in your best of 5 today, Abbedagge. Thank you very much for joining me. And Laura, over back to you.
Thank you so much, Trouble. Amazing to hear from Abbedagge before this game. As the team is clicking, everything is going well. They understand how to play with each other. But is it going to be enough against a Fnatic that keeps on improving game after game? And yesterday, for me, it was about the objective control setup, especially around the Drake stack, though.
Yeah, I think that was the most important part, was just seeing how well they were able to get mid-party and bot-party and then trying to lean into that equation. And you can see from the kill map here, all those little dots, how often we were fighting around that dragon in the early stages of the game. And I think it became a big focal point, and why we're starting to see the fact that playing for mid and bot party have become such a big issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's been evolving. I feel like this for a lot of the world, but for Fnatic, especially in that series, you could kind of see it game by game. Everything just became about these dragons checking in with, tools like this. We were highlighting the Daisy yesterday, of course, but being able to
about Daisy.
it was all about Daisy, right? But like being able to secure vision, or being able to basically just have set up or a way to brute force in so that you could remove the opponent from having that steadfast ability to just kind of hold their ground was very key.
And that's why I think we could see teams that had kind of skipped out on that step of getting mid-party was actually being fumbled. And I think a lot of that was because of champions like Maokai that were coming in that then would set up with big ultimates that would actually cause issues for you when you try to set up for Dragon.
I love what you're saying here, but I'm just hearing that from producers that Goldberg is actually standing by with a really important message. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much. You cast a minion in River right here. You were talking about Drake priority. I want to say that's absolutely impossible while Maokai is up. You see those disgusting little bastards right there? Makes it impossible to come in and contest. You know what else makes it impossible? His ultimate. So hard to teamfight in. So hard to teamfight in! And just so you understood, that was a team fighting that's super difficult to battle when there is a Maokai.
Are you
Do we all get
okay?
that? Yeah, we all okay.
Yeah,
Maokai, Ben,
I mean,
You got to
I agree.
leave it on your
But
shoulders.
yeah, you got a bit of jungle on your shoulder. But yeah, as we said, I think that Maokai especially is going to come in handy with picks like Jace, because this setup is really essential to both teams. So looking at the first game with XL playing on blue side and Fnatic on red side, how do we expect the first rotation to go maybe?
I think it's super hard when you're on red side to try and grasp the especially the start of the meta that we're going to see in this series. So I think, as you say, champions like Jace, do you give over Maokai? I think you end up banning Jace, Maokai on red side, probably give over something like Rel and see if you can then combat that a little bit easier, because I think Maokai is just so strong at the moment.
Fnatic managed to innovate yesterday, and that's what got them the win. We'll see if they're able to do this today. Do you think they have more tricks up their sleeve, GB?
I actually think that we saw most of what Fnatic had to offer last time. I think this is going to be on XL, so I'm really hoping that Fnatic's adaptation throughout this series and their willingness to try picks they might not be that comfortable on will be the way that they make it into this series.
Well, it is do or die for XL in today's series. Can they advance to the summer final and lock their spot in season finals as well? Or will Fnatic crash the party and send XL home until next year? Medic, take it away.